Can you be in a heterosexual monogamous relationship and have friends of the opposite sex? Sure, you can. But should you? I'm going to say no. And here's why. But first, why should you listen to me? My name is Chuck Chapman, and I'm a psychotherapist and a sex and intimacy coach, and I've helped hundreds of people figure out strategies that have helped them create more dynamic, deeper, intimate connections in the relationships. And if that's something you want, I invite you to hit the subscribe button right now. Do it while you're thinking about it, because that's what this channel is all about. So if you're in a committed, monogamous, heterosexual relationship, why shouldn't you have friends of the opposite sex? You shouldn't, in one word, biology. I don't care how strong you think you are, how emotionally developed and in control you are not stronger than your biology. You're not stronger than your instincts. See, your brain has one job, and that's to keep you alive. And the way it keeps you alive is by extending your DNA into the future. And that's why we all have an instinctual drive to procreate. For men, our instinctual drive knows that the more women we sleep with, the greater the odds of our DNA being extended into the future. This is also why men can have sex and be emotionally disconnected. When they say it meant nothing, it probably didn't mean anything, because their sexual drive is to not have emotional connections so that they can have multiple sex with multiple partners, and the odds of them extending their DNA into the future exponentially grows. Women, on the other hand, they can only get pregnant once every 9 months, 10 months or so. This is why for a woman, she can feel more emotionally connected to a man because she's invested, again, instinctually invested into keeping him around so that he can help protect her, provide for her and her offspring until the offspring is able to be on its own. And this generally happens around the age of 7, which is why we have the 7-year itch. It's a thing. About once every 7 years or so, this is when partnerships start to feel and have more vulnerability in them. So maybe you're thinking, so why should we have monogamy then? After all, if we're naturally driven to procreate and have sex with multiple people, why should we practice monogamy? Just because something is natural doesn't mean it's beneficial. For example, it's natural for us to shit in our pants. In fact, if you think of every animal that exists, what do? They just shit and piss wherever they want to. But as humans, we figured out that isn't a good thing. That's where a lot of disease comes from. That's where a lot of sickness and illness comes from, the bacteria. And so what we did was we learned a better way, right? And so we teach our children to go in the toilet, right? So the natural instinct is for us to shit wherever we want to. But we've trained ourselves to go in a very specific place and do it. Now, guys, let's be honest. Who doesn't like to take a piss outside? Because it's natural. Now, monogamy works because in a healthy family system, the function is to procreate and then develop your offspring into good citizens. This works best when there are 2 parents and there isn't a split, so that they don't have to split their time between multiple families. But monogamy, again, really only works in healthy family systems. So if you're not in a healthy monogamous relationship, it's not going to work. Your instincts are going to take over, and your drive to find a healthier balance. So if you find yourself in an unhealthy, toxic relationship, monogamy probably isn't going to work. You have to correct and make the relationship healthy in order for monogamy to be beneficial. Now, monogamy is more than just sexual fidelity. I've worked with hundreds of men who have had affairs, and not one of them started out by saying, you know what, today I think I'm going to have an affair. For men, it always starts with seeking validation because they weren't getting the validation at home. Women, on the other hand, typically start having affairs because she's not feeling emotionally connected with her partner at home. But in every case, there has been a self-deception that starts with these 4 words. We're just friends. Wait, that's 3 words. Anyway, that's how affairs start. Now, for guys, we think as long as my penis doesn't go into her vagina, then I'm being faithful. But that's not where affairs begin. Affairs begin at the point of emotional connection. In fact, let's say you were feeling uncomfortable about a relationship that your partner's having, and this relationship is with somebody of the opposite sex. And you say to them, I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable about this relationship. And then they defend and they say, but we're just friends. There's a good chance the affair has already started and it's time to call a lawyer. Maybe it's only an emotional affair, but it's started. So here's my position. I don't think it's a good idea for people in heterosexual monogamous relationships to be friends with people of the opposite sex. And why would you? Why should you? There are tons of people out there of your same sex that you could be friends with. Why not be friends with them? In fact, it's much healthier for you to be friends with people of your same gender outside of your monogamous relationship, because you need to have those additional connections to be balanced and healthy and to have a great relationship at home. Here's the deal. If you're standing on the edge of a cliff, the chances of you falling off are bigger than if you were standing 20 feet back from the cliff. If you're standing right on the edge, you might not fall off. But if you're standing 20 feet away, you're definitely not going to fall off. And the risk is just too great to put yourself or to put your partner in the position where an affair might start, because there's nothing more heartbreaking than being in a committed relationship with someone and finding out they cheated on you. There's just too much risk. So stay away from the edge and you won't fall. Again, it's not because I don't trust you or don't trust myself. It's that I don't trust the hundreds of thousands of years of emotional biology. I hope you found this video helpful and useful. And if you did, click the like and subscribe button, share it with your friends, and I'll talk to you next time.